I will note that we have a quorum, and I'll call the May 10th, 2016 Board of Supervisors meeting to order. We have Jonathan Hammond from Grace Lutheran Church to do our invocation. I will ask everyone to please stand and remain standing for the pledge afterwards, please.
Actually got to mow this afternoon. We didn't have rain in the suburbs of Royal Retreat like we did here, but thinking about peace this afternoon and the lack thereof in most parts of our world, and then I came up here and there's a rainbow over Wytheville and Wythe County, so it's a good thing to think about. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we do give you thanks for this beautiful place to call home, for this place where we can gather and express our concerns in a peaceful manner, in a way that seeks to build up our community and not tear down. We give you thanks for those who have been called to serve as leaders of our county, and pray that your spirit of wisdom and peace and understanding would be with them this night and throughout the year as they make decisions and discuss important issues and converse and hear the concerns of our citizens. But mostly we give you thanks for your love, for the promises that have been granted to us as Americans and as people of God. Guard us and keep us in all these good things, we pray in your holy name. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming out. The first thing on our agenda is a public hearing, and I'll read the notice of the public hearing. In compliance with the Code of Virginia and to amendment thereto, the Wythe County Board of Supervisors will conduct a public hearing to consider ordinance 2016-1 entitled Wythe County Property Maintenance Ordinance. The Board of Supervisors will hear public comments from citizens concerning the proposed ordinance. The public hearing will be held Tuesday, May the 10th, 2016 at 7:05 in the boardroom of the Wythe County Office Building, 340 South 6th Street, Wytheville, Virginia. A copy of the ordinance is on file for the public to review in the County Administration's office located at 340 South 6th Street, Wytheville, Virginia, or online at www.wytheco.org. And before we get started on the public comment, we'll ask Mr. Dalton to please summarize the ordinance.
Thanks, Mr. Reeves. I believe. Thanks for everybody coming out tonight. I'll try my best to make this ordinance one discussion. The ordinance, as everybody knows, Dave, the rest, we've had an ordinance a while back that dealt with a lot of different subjects. Subjects about the county property maintenance, from junk cars to houses to trash, etc. What happened is over the past few months, we have additional complaints, and the Building Grounds Committee came back to this ordinance and wanted to work through it and see how it could be brought back out dealing with cars, but dealing with items such as public safety, health, and welfare of the county citizens. And as you go through the ordinance, there's really only three definitions. One is trash, one is refuse, and the other is construction debris. And we go through the exemptions and of what we're trying to cover. All farm equipment, remnants, trailers, etc. are exempt from the ordinance. Salvage dealers, scrap processors, recyclers, automobile dealers, etc. So the focus of this ordinance is really to delve into when we get complaints of how we can go out in the field and send the code administrator official, which is Mr. Dunford, or his staff, to look at complaints to see if we have a means to actually address unsafe conditions or complaint-driven decisions. That process would include an inspection of the property, a decision of whether it fit this ordinance or not, that dealt with the health, safety, and general welfare of the county citizens. And from that point, we would ask and give notice to those citizens that were in violation to clean up their site. If the time frame that's specified in the ordinance, if it's not enough, it says that we would provide additional time as necessary for that to happen. Unfortunately, for those that don't clean up the property, then if it's an old burnout trailer or half torn down trailer, et cetera, then you would, the county would come in at some point, take upon themselves to clean it up, and then send the bill back to the property. It's a very simple ordinance. It took away, in my opinion, a lot of the problems or onerous portions that even I had last time, that trying to keep the farm clean to somebody's subdivision specifications, it just didn't happen. Because I got fence posts and wire, equipment laying everywhere. But this ordinance, the way I read it, and the county attorney should have been here to explain it, it really exempts all of those things, junk cars, so that we don't have a lot of issues, but it's really about health and general welfare of the citizens. And as you go through, Mr. Reeves, if I may, the board will try to respond. We usually don't do that, but we'd like to, if you have comments, we'll try to respond the best we can. If we don't know the answer, we'll just have to tell you we don't know the answer, if that's okay. Mr. Reeves?
Okay. I'll remind everyone that if you're speaking as an individual, you have 3 minutes. You're speaking for a group, you have 5. Mr. Hill will call your name. He'll be the timekeeper of our public comment period, and we'll open our public comment period now.
Mr. King, you're first on the list.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Chris King, 3310 Crockett's Cove Road, Wythe, Virginia. I have just 2-3 questions here. One is about like visibility from like a state road or a neighbor's property. That, when I understand it, the way it's written, that somebody can see it or those kind of things. But if it's not a health hazard and it can't be seen from a neighbor's property or a state maintained road, what goes that way? And then another one I have, if I've already cleaned the property up of all the trash and someone dumped stuff there, I shouldn't be fined for something that's dumped there. I should be given a little bit of time to clean it up and those kind of things. And then the other one here was on section 3 here, talks about, I think I understand it, it's just about the wood part. Says, owner of the parcel or property shall maintain all exterior property areas in a clean, safe condition, free from accumulation of trash, garbage, refuse, litter, scrap metal, or wood. Well, I think you need to specify that wood part, because we can have timber, a tract of land timbered, and it looks like a war zone when we timbered it. And I think that maybe needed to be specified that it's like building material, not just forestry. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next one also a King, is that right?
That's Sharon.
Sharon?
My name is Sharon King, 5033 Wesley Highway, Whitfield, 686-4346. I am for the property ordinance. I think if we don't nip it in the bud now, up our way on Wesley Highway, a lot of folks are passing away, unfortunately, and we do miss them. Houses are being up for sale, and there is going to be new people that are coming in. And our way has always been, people has kept their stuff up. But we don't know what these new people are going to do when they come in. I'm not judging nobody or saying they're going to do anything. But new people that are coming in, we don't know what they're going to do. or what we're gonna have to put up with. And I mean, some people says, throw the trash in behind your house. No, that's not gonna solve the problem. There's gonna be rats, there's gonna be mice, there's gonna be rodents, and they're gonna come over onto the other neighbor's property. And they're not gonna only hurt you, they're gonna hurt your neighbors. So the trash needs to be in bags, needs to be hauled off. And I mean, couches, stoves, and refrigerators and stuff like that, rats and mice are gonna get in them. They need to be cleaned up. And I'm not trying to pick on nobody or anything. I am for the ordinance so we can nip it in the bud before this gets out of order, people fighting each other. We don't need that. We need to be at peace. And if it's nipped in the bud, there's an ordinance we gotta go by. There's rules we all gotta go by whether we like it or not. And I think this is one that we need to pass for the safety of the community and for the upkeep and for for people to look at. We don't wanna look at junk. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but really, we don't wanna look at it. And I got just one more little thing to say, and about the little thing that's put in the paper right here. Is there any way we can make that bigger? I'm not trying to be mean or contrary or anything.
I guess we can ask, the paper really dictates the size.
Oh, I didn't know how that worked.
Well, if we can ask that it be in a 2x4, they charge you based by square inches. So we send it to them, they put it in that format, but if the board would like larger print, we can dictate it be 2 inches by 4 inches, or 4 by 6.
Yeah, because people, if I hadn't come to the meeting and know that you said it was gonna be in the enterprise, I would not see that. I really would not. I do always look at that because I know there's gonna be in there, but a lot of people will not see that because they can't see it. Let's be honest. And like I said, I'm not trying to be contrary or hateful. I'm just asking if it could be a little bit bigger, please. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sharon.
We just try to use your money as best we can.
No
We're not
more
trying
than
to
it is
hide
to
it,
speak, I
but
wouldn't even
that-
worry about the
I
time.
agree with you.
Next, Eric, Roger.
Unless I have these, I can't. Before we go on, I'd like to answer Mr. King's questions. The discussion about the wood is really, if you're recycling it and you're tearing a barn down or a house down and you're stacking it up, then you're okay. If you've got it scattered every which way, if you knock the wall off and it's no intent, it's just blowing around and laying there, that judgment, and I think it talks about it or alludes to it in an ordinance, maybe it's not that clear. But we had a long discussion about that. If you're tearing it down and you're trying to recycle it, that is not wood we're going after, and it says that. The other part, this dump trash, we do have a little problem in the county with people on remote roads or roads where there's not houses, that they'll pull, if you don't have a gate, they'll pull up in your field, maybe if you have a gate sometime, and just throw it out, especially if you said something they don't like. It just shows up. So, and we talked about that, the board brought it up, and we had a discussion, how to go about that, and I hate to say it, if they dump it on you, if we'll help investigate it, if we can find who did it, we'll charge them and give them. If you don't, we'll work with you to try to help clean it up. But that happens. It's unfortunate that it happens, but it's not just in the code. Be assured you, it's all around the county. Even though you can go to the recycling center most of the time, some people prefer to just drop it off. So we've got areas over next to the farm, it just happens, almost on a weekly basis.
And if you got a problem with somebody dumping trash on your property, let us know, and we'll have the sheriff, we have cameras we can put up and try to catch these people that's dumping the trash.
May I address one
Yes.
other question? Mr. King talked about line of sight. There's no line of sight mentioned in here. So it's not it's not that it can be seen from the road, it can be anywhere on somebody's property.
Yeah, if we have a complaint, we're gonna investigate it. We're gonna contact the property owner. We're gonna go from that point on. It's really, we don't have the staff to go out looking for it. If we see it, we'll address it, but it's gonna be a complaint, mostly a complaint-driven ordinance.
Eric?
Thank you, gentlemen. Eric Crougy, 465 Richdale Road, Wytheville, Virginia. You've pretty well answered half of what I was asking the board if they could be lenient with this trash that gets thrown on us. And you're right, some of us tend to have a little bit more than others thrown on them. And I would encourage in some way, fashion, or form, put up the cameras and prosecute and find some of this. I mean, find people. Used to be signs in the county that had $500 for littering. Bring those back, and let's catch some of this camera thing going.
Then you'll be calling us complaining that somebody threw a $500 fine sign over your yard.
Yeah, I get, maybe so. The other thing about this is, and I'm not speaking against the ordinance, but I'd like to see you tweak it just a little bit further, and maybe not in the ordinance, but let's go back to our school system, and let's go into the elementary school classes and start encouraging some of these kids not to throw the trash out the window. That this is not what mom and dad should be doing. And then come high school age, and I know it's not part of the SOL system, but let's teach some of these ordinances that we have in this county to our civics classes, so that when they come out, they know, as you know, to be a better citizen. And we've got a wonderful school system. Let's utilize it. Thank you.
I'd like to answer that about the trash program. As you know, we've got a new van. We got the inmates from New River back picking up trash. We started with primary roads and worked the way out from there. But the sheriff has added an education program in the elementary schools as part of the DARE program. It's already done.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next, Mr. Wimmer.
Yeah, I hope got something here that you guys will look at. We have a problem with one of our neighbors. The house is empty, has been for a number of years. Property hasn't been mowed in over 2 years. It's in a subdivision. 3 homes are, he has 2 lots. 3 homes are looking at that property out their front door, and of course, the 2 homes on either side of it. And we wanted to see if maybe you could do something about this. I have a picture. Can I get this? Yeah. This is the neighborhood, the way it looks, looking down the street. And this, here is the house that we're concerned about.
Is it on Gillen Lane?
Who?
Is it Gillen Lane?
Gillen Lane.
Yeah, I know exactly what it is.
You know whose property it is?
I do.
And that's all. I mean, everyone in the neighborhood is upset about this.
I could know where that house is at.
Okay, and that's all I have. Just, we would like for you to take a look at that and see if you could get him to do something about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's working.
David, we saved the best for last. You want a hymn before you start?
Yeah, David Blessing, 500 Ball Tree Road, Wytheville, Virginia. I just, think it's a great thing for the property maintenance and, because if you go up number 11, most of your homes up through there is pretty nice. But as my sister said, we've had some being sold here in the community. And as you ride up through there now, it don't look that great. And I'll be honest with you, I hope that y'all do pass this, because I like to try to keep my place clean. And there was no junk there when I come there, and I think it would be nice that nobody could come there and put junk beside me. And, you know, y'all all know how that looks with trash and everything else. And, you know, I would have loved to seen you kept the cars in there to a certain thing, because that's a health hazard too. We've got a friend that already that a woman's moved in with this elderly woman and has brought an old car up there and parked it right there, right on his property line. And you know what cars does. They bring out bees. You talking about the health and safety of everything. They bring out the rats. They bring out the snakes. And he's got kids a playing around. And, you know, like I said, there was no cars there when he come there. And I'm not complaining about some property. If there's cars there before I got there, that's my problem, because I shouldn't ever come there. But I'd like to see you tweak that thing just a little bit as I'm talking to Tim, and try to get some of these automobiles, not, you know, give them an amount of time to let them move them, you know, but just don't let them trash there and let the trees grow up in them and rose bushes grows around them, because that is a health hazard too. But I appreciate your free time.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it, Mr. Chairman. Anybody
Okay. Bernice, would y'all like to speak?
Yes, I would just like for clarification, please.
Okay.
I'm Sandra Vernon. My family and I own Glenbrook Mobile Home Park in Rural Retreat. We would like clarification, Mr. Dalton, on when you say property owner would be responsible for cleaning this up, basically. Does that mean that we, as the property owner, would, the people in our park own their own mobile homes? There are two that are abandoned and have been for a couple of years. They're in abhorrent condition. We've got photographs. I mean, they are a health hazard to people because the doors are off. There's wood laying down with nails and all of that kind of stuff. So
Hate
Claire,
to say that I know that location too.
I hope you've had complaints from some of our other tenants. Because we need to get that taken care of. And in order to do it through the legal system, it takes 6 months at least. Because you've got to go through the unlawful detainer, the writ of possession, warrant and debt new, and all of those things. It just takes forever. And then you've got to then declare a property abandoned. So we're needing to know, when you say property owner, is that the landowner or the owner of the mobile home?
I will say it this way, unfortunately, the only recourse we have currently is through the property owner, not the trailer.
Right. So I guess the next question I am asking is, will this Mr. Dunford come out and look at that property and declare it or condemn it so we can tear it down? We're willing to do that and get it out of our sight and our
Well, there's
tenants'
a certain
sight.
process, the county just can't come out. We have to take it to court.
Uh-huh.
And once we take it to court, we're gonna give you time, obviously in your situation, you're prohibited by law
Right.
to move it. So the next step for us, not picking on you, but we've gotta follow the course of the law that says that we get permission to move it. And we may jointly go after the title over that trailer too. It's still in their title, in their name, and they have been transferred to you. Our intent is if we get that, we will say, okay, you've got a certain time, but at that point in time, there'll be a court order that allows you to tear it down. But we will be talking to the property owner and stuff.
Okay, one of those mobile homes, we've already gone through all the processes. It's just sitting there abandoned. We've already gotten the writ of possession and warrant and debt new and all of that, but cannot get them to move it. Do you have to go through that same process too?
No. We will file suit, or ask for a judgment that we'd be allowed to go into the property and remove it. And then at that point, once we get that, the way I understand it, if we can work out a program with you, then we'll be talking wouldn't take care of their own property.
Right, well, the other one has been abandoned, and then that person gave it to another person that's never had a contract with us in any way. And we think we have finally found her, but we're just now getting ready to start that process. But it is a real hazard to the neighbors, especially if children go in there.
Well, that's where the kids wanna go.
That's exactly right.
I hate to tell you.
And there's evidence, there's been cigarettes and what have you, and I'm so scared, so afraid of fire. But anyway, just, you answered my question, you declared property owner. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, it's not our intent to be honest about it. I will tell you that we will work with you every means possible.
Thank you, so we should see Mr. Dunford.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody else like to speak concerning the ordinance? If not, I'll close the public hearing and move on with the agenda, or do you want to take up the ordinance now?
That's entirely up to you guys. Two questions, whether you do it now or not. If you do it now, unless Eric and Chris are satisfied with our responses.
Are y'all satisfied with the responses? Does anybody else have any concerns or questions before we proceed with voting on the ordinance? Okay, I'll entertain them. Did it come from the Building and Grounds Committee? Or, well, I'll just entertain a motion to. I'll entertain a motion to approve the ordinance.
I move that we adopt the ordinance as written.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and second to adopt ordinance 2016-01. Open the floor for discussion or comments.
I've got a couple of questions. Does this meet the threshold for the property maintenance ordinance?
It would meet the criteria, I think, for there to be an investigation. Then it would depend on what evidence he brings back to the board.
Okay, but we don't have anything specifically in there about mowing and height of grass and that sort of thing.
The thing that may fall in, if the doors are open and the windows are broken out here, the unsafe condition of the property, the mowing itself will not trigger the property maintenance,
Okay, all right.
in my opinion.
I didn't think it would either.
Under section 5, report of violation, can you define the word aggrieved for me? Where it says any person aggrieved by the presence of the accumulation, attraction, or violation of section 3 may report such presence to the county administration office.
It's aggrieved.
Mm-hmm.
That means you're aggravated. You don't like it. You want
So-
something done about it.
I can go by somebody's house that I don't know. If I just don't like the looks of it, I can call.
If it fits that ordinance, I believe you can.
And, okay, Mr. Dunford will decide whether it fits the ordinance.
Right.
So we've got one person.
No. He brings an investigative report back to the board, is the way it's written, right?
It doesn't come back to,
All right.
yeah, it doesn't come back to the board.
Right, but there's more than one person reviewing the evidence. He's just, as all the other ordinances, Gary, he's the one that does the investigation and presents it to a higher authority for action.
Any other comments?
In all honesty, a couple things. One, it bothers me for most people. They shouldn't have to wait, on the county to make an ordinance, to clean up stuff. They should do it on their own. I understand that. The other thing is that, you know, once we pass an ordinance, you know, we never seem to, you know, to get rid of any, you know, any ordinances. You know, they just keep, you know, kind of piling up. But the other thing I'll say is that everybody was given the same opportunity throughout the county to come and speak to it. The only people that came are those who are in favor of it. And, yeah, so, you know, in all honesty, when I first came, you know, today, I was thinking I was going to, you know, vote no, just simply because, you know, of issues of personal freedom and property rights and smaller government. But when you don't have anybody that shows up to, you know, to complain about it.
Well, I agree with you, Gary. I wish that everybody would take care of their own property and we wouldn't have to do stuff like this. And, you know, but I think it's up to us, you know, leaders of the community, to make sure that, that just because your neighbor wants to throw trash all over their yard, that, and devalue your property, we shouldn't let that go on either.
And one other question. It's complaint driven. If somebody calls about my property, do I find out who called?
If they leave their name, I guess, I hadn't thought about that, but typically if you're gonna complain about something, whether it be a dog biting or anything, we ask for the complainant, because once we get to court, if the complainant's not known, and it's just us, then there'd be, I guess, the defense attorney will tear us apart with that portion of it. So we always ask.
And these complaints, then, we don't take anonymous complaints?
We'll hear from them, and we may go by and look to see if something's going on. There'll be some people that don't want to get involved, but, you know, it's pretty hard to take anything to heart. This is me, administering the ordinance, that if you can't tell me your name, or you write me a letter without a signature, you've got to have some courage to step forth if you're going to complain, in my opinion.
Gary, when you're saying that, I would raise to 10, if you don't mind, who was going to police this? And, I mean, it's by no means that, you know, somebody could ride up number 11 and see trash or anybody else. I mean, I don't see why it would have to be a neighbor, and I'll be honest with you, as I told you on the phone, somebody's trashing up my property, I've not got no problem to come forward and say, hey, listen, you're trashing up my property, and whatever happens, it happens. But just like going up number 11, you know where they're at, Gary.
Oh, I know.
I mean, you know, you see Mr. Dunford, he might be riding around looking, and he rides up number 11. I mean, he goes up through there sometimes, say, man, look what eyesore this is. You know, they ain't nobody has to step forward.
Now, Gary, you know where they're at.
And, you know, that's my biggest complaint, Gary. I mean, you know, it's gonna get worse. If like Tim says, it's crime shame. That
Well,
y'all have to police
My,
there.
my concern about anonymous complaints is that I have seen that in other situations turn into a way just to jab your neighbor. I mean, if you can call and, you know, and not, well, I don't want to say who I am, but, you know, so-and-so needs somebody out there to investigate them. You know, it makes it too easy for somebody to use that as a, maybe not even a big hammer, but a hammer against somebody that they don't like. And I agree, if you're going to make a complaint, your name needs to be attached to it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Any more comments, questions? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horny?
Yeah.
No.
I still don't like it, but I'll vote aye on this one.
And the chair votes aye. Motion passes 6 with 1 no. Okay, taking care of that, moving on with the agenda for tonight's meeting, citizens' time. Does anybody would like to speak during citizens' time? Hearing none, I'll close citizens' time. Okay, we have the minutes of the April 26th and May 4th minutes. Is any, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the April the 26th and May 4th minutes. Is there any corrections or changes need to be made? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Hausman?
Aye.
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 Yeah.
The chair votes aye. Payment of invoices, I'll entertain a motion to pay the invoices.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to pay the invoices. Any invoice any board member would like to discuss? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horny?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
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 The chair votes aye. Okay, next item is old business. Mr. Dalton, we have anything under old business? Mr. Willis, do you have?
I do have one small, quick thing. Mr. Charles Herring, Jr. has said he would like to serve on the Recreation Commission for Wythe County, and I'd like to recommend him, please.
You making a motion?
Herring. I am making that motion, yes, sir.
I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Herring.
I'll take care of it.
Anything else under old business?
Can we go ahead and do another one?
Yes.
Because I believe that Speedwell needs someone also, so I would make the recommendation that we appoint Dickie Pack.
Make that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I have a second.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Pack.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have my recreation. Man, yet I'm working on it.
Okay.
Maybe I'll have it by next week.
And I'll remind, we do need to come up with one on the lead mines, and we got 3 we need to come up with the Wythe County Rescue Squad board. We need to get them appointed. Okay, that closes. Anything else under old business, Mr. Dalton? Okay, new business, Building Grounds Committee report.
We have one recommendation, May 3. The Building Grounds Committee met on May 3rd and recommends proceeding with Pete and Boyce LLC to conduct the engineering design work for Progress Park Lot 19 sanitary sewer system and amend and appropriate $29,400 for the work.
Okay, coming from committee, it doesn't need a second. Any comments or discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Hausman?
Aye.
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 Yeah.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Ryan Justice Grant.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion that we accept the Burn Justice Assistance Grant in the total award of $1,504, with the federal funds being $1,354, and our matching fund being $150. And do we need to amend and appropriate that?
If you would.
Okay, and along with that motion, then I would like to amend and recommend that we amend and appropriate to $150 for that matching grant.
And that will come from police activity.
Police Activities Fund.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horny?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
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 The chair votes aye. Next item's county office building. Mr. Dalton?
The gentleman you have before you proposed basically, we have a little bit less than $1 million left in an account where we borrowed money to build the building next door. This will allow us to, as it says in the proposal, we will get this site design, the schematics, the construction documents, and in that portion, including the structural, mechanical, electrical. The intent is to, with the money we have, to build basically a shell building. And as we go through this thing, we will finish out the interiors by floor by floor as the board has local dollars available. That'll get us on the way to our desired office space that we need. And after we get this done, each and every year, it'll be a request to finish out a floor. So I would recommend that we accept the proposal for all the way up through the bidding. We will do our own construction admin. And then, but we do need the structural engineering, mechanical, and electrical plumbing done. So accept the whole bid except for the construction admin.
Okay, you heard recommendation of the county administrator on the Lane Group. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion, a second, any discussion?
Now, the money for this building's been there for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We've been here, we've had proposals to cover the end of it, but we have enough money to build a shell of this building and the roof and get all this designed so that in the future we can finish it out. And that's the best use of that money
Yeah.
instead of just letting it sit there.
As a query, we're gonna go on and tie in the stair tower and the elevator
Yes.
as part of this design.
Actually, the electrical portion of it was put in, the main cabinets and everything were put in as part of the original project. So quite a bit of this is already done.
And the next part of that question is, are we gonna come back once that shell's done and we'll take a look at proposed party walls and what we're gonna use each floor for?
Yes.
They're not gonna draw any party walls right now.
There will be a sketch of party walls. That is part of the whole program, to
Okay.
design so that if they're gonna design the mechanical and electrical plumbing, all those party walls need to be laid out inside, and that is part of the requirement to show where the drops are for the HVAC.
Yep.
The electrical, the computers, that whole process, the plumbing, et cetera, will be completely part of this. But what happens with this, we're gonna let it bid out. The footers, the flooring, the roofing, to fit within the money we have. And then we'll come back and add those pieces as the funding become available by the Board of Supervisors in some future budget.
But they are being put on the plans in detail now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Hausman?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Yeah,
The chair votes aye. Next item is the VDOT Programmatic Project Administration Agreement Resolution.
A portion of this has been on the previous agenda that allowed us to move forward with the progress part. Obviously, I didn't read to the last paragraph. There was a requirement for the board to pass a resolution and authorize me to sign all the documents in the future. The county administrator, not me, excuse me.
I entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2016-05 and authorize the county administrator to sign all documents.
So moved.
Have a second. Have a second. Any discussion, comments? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horny?
Yeah,
All right,
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Resolution passes. Next item in front of you is surplus property. You have all the bids, the high bids in on the property, totaling $42,946. Entertain the motion to, do we have to declare it surplus and accept the bids?
so moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to declare these vehicles surplus and accept the high bids. Open the floor up for any discussion or comments.
on this Boone, GMC Boone truck, we bid that thing off once before. Is that
We've done,
more than what?
we've bid it several times. I'm not sure, but I think this is the first time it met reserves. Reserve we put out there. The previous price may have been higher, but we lowered the reserve. Is that not true?
Okay.
Martha says yes. So, I'm accurate.
And I'll note, we may not be rid of it this time either because I was notified by Gov Deals this morning that the high bidder defaulted on another auction. Usually that locks them out.
I thought it was supposed to, it says in their little thing, it's supposed to lock them out. Okay, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Housen
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Yeah,
and the chair votes aye. Under other,
That'd be me.
that'd be you.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I move that the Wythe County Board of Supervisors convene in closed meeting to discuss the following as permitted by Virginia Code 2.2, 3711A5, a matter involving a prospective new business or industry.
I have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and second to go into closed session. Any questions or discussions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are now in closed session.
Whereas the Wythe County Board of Supervisors has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the Wythe County Board of Supervisors that such a meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Wythe County Board of Supervisors hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which the certification resolution applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed session were heard, discussed, and considered by the Wythe County Board of Supervisors.
To have a second on the resolution. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Hausman?
Aye.
all right.
yeah.
The chair votes aye. Now, before we recess, Mr. Dalton, is anything else you'd like to discuss? I have the,
Here's the agenda, 10 a.m. At the site, David Cows, you turn in at the, on the Ely Trinkle, at the famous cul-de-sac that goes on the first ridge, just as you pass Summit, Chicago. David Cows at 10 o'clock, Mary Ray Carter at 10:05, Chairman Reeves at 10:10, David Manley or this Dalton guy introduces Dr. Dan Tolley at 10:15, Dan Tolley at 10:15 or whenever, and then David Manley closes. Appears the chairman's got 5 minutes.
Take your little flip thing for tomorrow, Joe.
Before you
Okay. Well, the floor is yours, Mr. Hale.
Scary mail you send us every once in a while about state requirements. I've read that thing twice, and I think we need some tutorage about how to fill it out. There's some hidden differences in that and what we've been using. It's more invasive, not only in your life, but in activities of your spouse or whoever lives in the house with you. It goes on and on. It looks like to me some of it's contradictory. I can read the do's, but then I get confused when I read the exceptions. Are you ready to help us?
I'll be honest, I haven't read it.
I recommend everybody read it.
This is what I would tell you. If you accept any meal or gift or any type that you think of, whatever the minimum amount is, record it and then put it on your, whether, and they have not excluded that it has to do with account. I mean, it could be any gift that you receive, is the way it says. There is a minimum, we'll do a do and done thing, but it's pretty intrusive
Mm-hmm.
for if, for us retired, for those that are retired, it's not too bad unless you own a business and that, where I have to list cattle sales and all that other stuff.
What is significant ownership? Would that have to do with the size of the business?
I don't think it has anything to do with the size of the business.
Not the way they've written it.
They want you to reveal all your titles. And then they excluded themselves from having to do it. But it's a pretty,
But it's still kept here unless they request it.
Yeah.
It's not sent to Richmond like
no.
the rest of them are.
It's still not done online.
No, we don't do it online.
Okay. I bet you it's covered by FOIA.
It is.
Yeah.
So, it gets even more intrusive.
Well, we've been filling it out for a long, long time. I feel like it started. We've never had anybody ask for anybody's statement of economic interest.
Well, ain't nobody
As
gives,
Marcus has, I have never had a request.
ain't nobody gives us anything anyway.
Well, it's not the gift part, that's pretty black and white, and I generally see everything in black and white, but this thing, when it wants to know all of your personal business, it was pretty vague last time. What if we filled it out in the same form, then last year they changed it a little bit? But this one is, it goes another leap beyond that, I think. Or maybe it's the way they divide it up, it's what, A through G,
Yeah.
and the way it's divided up, and it seems like to me when you're up there in A and B and C, you're about where we've always been, and then you get into those new parts. I don't think they exactly agree with what's in the front end of it.
Well,
What do you think about massive resistance? That didn't work one time.
massive resistance.
Means we all go together, don't fill it out.
I'm not gonna deal for you.
If we're gonna do massive resistance, I say we do a cigarette tax.
Hopefully somebody can read it that understands it.
Well, some of those A through Gs, if you read closely, you really don't have to do. I mean, you just gotta read it. I mean,
Well, that's where we need a cheat sheet. The part we don't have to do. Or tell Martha, Martha will relay it. Very understanding method.
Okay, has anybody else got any business come before the board tonight?
Martha, it is still $50, right? Anything less than 50, you don't have, total 100 for the year. They would do 50, you really don't have to say much about it, but you can't accept more than 100 in a year. Might, for you business people, may make it tough.
So if Butch buys my breakfast at McDonald's, I'm okay?
But that don't
Unless
count
I eat a whole
anything
lot.
the county spends for us conducting business.
Now, I don't know, don't say on record that Butch is my friend.
Okay.
I call him Dad.
Print it out. So I gotta print it out.
And then write it.
And then handwrite it. Cause I don't have a typewriter anymore.
If you got a Adobe,
There's a printable PDF, and I think somewhere online.
There is, but
Last time I
it's not
could.
fillable, but that's because I spent half the day making the fillable form.
Oh.
Thank you, Martha.
I'll just handwrite it.
I'll work on it.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. I can handwrite it. Cause, you know, when you don't own a business and you don't have any money, it's a whole lot easier to fill out, Joe.
I've got the second part covered.
okay.
We're a non-profit business.
Anything else? Hearing none, we'll be in recess until Monday, May the 16th, 2016 at 4:50 PM.